Hey guys, welcome once again to the Yapathon. It's the nonchalant movie guy coming to you with a topic I found really interesting that I wanted to dive into, which has sort of died down now, which I'll explain in a bit. Since my original sort of script for this, Mr. Tarantino has, I guess, apologized for what he said and is now glazing Paul Dano, which is great. Love to see these guys making up. So I wasn't going to upload this because not only has a drama blown over now, it's like 10 decades old by YouTube's algorithm standards, right? But the audio I had recorded for this video wanted to shit the bed 3 separate times. The first time, it just midway through a 24-minute recording, it just wanted to sound like beep boops like Glep from Smiling Friends. And the second time, iOS 26 just brain deaded my iPhone and voice memos just shit the bed again, and it didn't work. The third time, it just again did not work, so it doesn't want to save the audio. I don't know if Quentin Tarantino's tapping into my voice memos, seeing that I'm freaking critiquing him. I'm bashing his opinion on Paul Dano so bad that he's just like, it feels like he's hog tying me and shoving like the whole Bloody Affair DVD bundle down my throat. He's like shoving the Django Steelbook from Target down my throat and trying to take my socks off and take pictures of my feet. Like, it just feels like Tarantino's sabotaging my script. So now, like I said, I wasn't gonna make it because the drama is blown over and I was getting rage baited by these voice memos. But honestly, I thought to myself, you know what, this shit, dude, I'm gonna make the video now out of spite. So this is the new 4th recording, which I'm going to edit, and I'm going to gather new gameplay too, because the gameplay I was going to have in the background was terrible. I was getting murked. I had like John Wicks on the opposing team every single match, bro. I had like the most virgin, basement dwelling, like musty players playing Battlefield 6, and I had a whole bit, with the oil rig shit, like, because, I'm talking about there will be blood and blah, 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 right? But, so I'm going to get new gameplay. I'm re-recording this now live from the past as you're hearing it now. I'm going to edit it, I'm going to post it, and I'm going to defend Paul Dano. And you know what? Frankly, because I'm pretty sure I'm being sabotaged by Quentin Tarantino, I'm going to also just shit on him even more for his opinion. So just wanted to be a little transparent with you guys on why this video came out. It's really just more of a you to iMovie, to voice memos, and to iOS 26, and to editing shit on an iPhone. I really need to stop being broke and edit shit on a better software, and yeah, get a mic. So I will be doing that now, guys, for the next 2 videos that come out. Anyways, and so, as some of you, or now most of you may know, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair has been released. I saw it, it was great. I loved the extended scenes I saw added to the film. 10 out of 10 IGN, truly great stuff. So afterwards, as any cinephile would, I began researching the behind the scenes of Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction and getting into the whole Quentin Tarantino verse lore, and found that he has called out Paul Dano for being weak sauce, the worst actor in SAG, what I stated earlier. And that he is essentially screen cancer compared to Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. Now, I'm not here to talk about the drama, as we all know now it's blown over, like I said, or make this video some sort of celebrity news coverage piece. I don't care for it. I don't want to put energy into it because, frankly, repeating when you can already look up yourself is silly, right? So instead, I want to break down a scene that I've noticed has been used when it comes to this topic, and what I think about Tarantino's opinion on Paul Dano. The scene in question is the famous "I've abandoned my child" scene, which takes place soon after Plainview's son goes deaf after an accident occurs on one of Plainview's oil rigs. Spoilers ahead for There Will Be Blood, which, if you haven't seen it already, what are you even doing? Anyway, this scene perfectly embodies the polarizing differences between Eli and Plainview, because the movie follows an egotistical oil man who is willing to manipulate and destroy anyone in his path to make sure he's the one to own it all. He wants to be in control. He wants to be the only one in control, which you find out later on means he's even willing to estrange and disown his own son for starting his own oil business just because he sees him as his competitor, as he says in the movie, right? He sees him as competition now. And so he just basically tells him, "You're not actually my son. You're a bastard from a basket. And, you should go kill yourself because you're deaf and I hate you, and you, man, for trying to take my money." That's basically what he tells him. He just straight up destroys his relationship with his surrogate son.
Look at me. You're lower than a bastard.
Eli is someone who is just as equally as manipulative, and just because he can't physically or financially threaten Plainview, he gets an ass beat, he can still do damage, as we're seeing play out here.
Bad habits as a backslider. You've lusted after women and you have abandoned your child. Your child that you raised. You have abandoned all because he was sick and you have sinned. So say it now. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner.
Say it louder. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner.
Louder, Daniel. I am a sinner.
I am a sinner.
I am sorry, Lord.
I am sorry, Lord.
I want the blood.
I want the blood.
You have abandoned your child.
I've abandoned my child.
I will never backslide.
I will never backslide.
I was lost, but now I am found.
I was lost, but now I'm found.
I have abandoned my child. Say it.
I abandoned my child.
Say it louder. Say it louder.
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
Beg for the blood.
By humiliating and wanting to get Plainview to admit himself to not only God, which is important because Plainview isn't really a man of faith, but to Eli himself, that he has failed. He has failed his son. He has failed at being this stoic, know-it-all businessman, oil man. He basically just wants to tell him, hey man, you're a piece of shit, and you're even a bigger piece of shit for abandoning your son, and I hate you. It's basically just a petty war. It's a 1930s petty war movie, right? Petty war against religion and industrialism. This back and forth, though, as you see play out in the movie, starts because Plainview has cheated Eli out of some settlement for the land they own, which Plainview was using to grow his business without much regard to Eli and his family. The rest of the movie continues, and Eli and Plainview have one final encounter, where he once again embodies his destructive nature and not only proves to Eli that he has won, but also kills him. I could make a whole video on the interesting commentary as I see it on the swift change between American culture at the time this movie takes place in, these two individuals fighting for power, showcasing the shift between American ideologies. On the one side, we have simple, humble farm folk who want to live a life of harmony with God, albeit a sort of culty kind of harmony. And on the other, an industrious, survivalistic, and greedy ideology of the people who want to own what they can by any means necessary. But I'll save that for its own video. This is going to be about defending Paul Dano and his acting in the scene because, again, Quentin Tarantino, iMovie, voice memos, and iPhone, iOS 26. So, yeah, let's get into it, boy. Now, in my opinion, Tarantino's critique, or really more of a crash out, is kind of distasteful and dumb. I don't agree with it, and I think the only reason he doesn't like Paul Dano, besides probably, Paul Dano rejecting Quentin Tarantino from taking pics of his feet, I guess. I mean, I don't know if Quentin Tarantino tried to pull a Kojima and 3D scan Paul Dano's feet for a movie, or the Fortnite frickin' third lost chapter, but obviously he doesn't have the rep that Kojima does, and he has some distasteful feelings about Paul Dano. Besides that, I think he doesn't like Paul Dano's performance, though, in the movie, because he doesn't necessarily have the star power to counter Daniel Day-Lewis's presence, but I think that's the point in the movie. Not that Paul Dano doesn't have the acting chops to go against or contrast with Daniel Day-Lewis, but I think Paul Dano perfectly embodies the kind of character he's supposed to be. Daniel Day-Lewis's character is older, richer, more put together, more charismatic, and I guess a bit prettier, right, being played by Daniel Day-Lewis, but still a terrible and borderline evil person. Paul Dano's character isn't as charismatic, or put together, or rich, but still just as equally as terrible. I don't want to say Paul Dano is being typecasted as the meek, crackly voiced crazy guy, but I mean, he does it well.
I'm here. Do you want to know?
Son, don't do
Be
this,
quiet!
please. Don't.
Be... Shut your mouth, Abel! It was your stupid son! It was Paul who told him to come here.
Swiss Army Man and the Batman are both great examples of this sort of archetype that Paul Dano can play. I think it's perfect to showcase this dynamic in the movie because the whole point is that these two men aren't supposed to be heroes or be portrayed in a way to make easy thirst traps of on TikTok, right? These aren't literally me characters. They're not supposed to be objectively conventionally attractive. You're not supposed to think they're hot first before taking the characters to account and the plot in the movie and what the movie's about, right? I mean, Daniel Plainview is literally me, but that's beside the point. To put it bluntly, you can't have Austin Butler play Eli, which is who Tarantino said he thought would be a better choice to play Eli, which just sounds like it's just like the dumbest example to give ever. Yeah, Paul Dano, no, I think Austin Butler would be great. Why? Because you want to kiss him? What, you think he's hot or something? Because he played Tex. He played Tex in one of your movies because he played Elvis. Like, it's just such a random choice. Besides, I don't know, that he just thinks he's hot. That's why I'm having this example. You know, that's one of my first points, is that I think Quentin Tarantino wanted another sort of Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt kind of dynamic, except Brad Pitt would be more of an opposing force, an antagonist or an anti-hero in Leonardo DiCaprio's journey to being, you know, a top dog movie star. Instead, it's just like, what are you trying to get out of it, man? This is a movie about two terrible people. One is just more religious than the other, and the other just cares about money and oil and being alone. This isn't a fanfic, you know. It just came off really, it just fucking weird. It just made no fucking sense. That's as basic as it gets. Makes no goddamn sense. Why Austin Butler, right? Because Austin Butler is arguably just as charismatic and pretty as Daniel Plainview, which I don't know if that's got something to say about Quentin Tarantino, but hey, man, I'm not saying Austin Butler can't do it. It's just Austin Butler's voice wouldn't sell these lines the way Paul Dano's voice sells these lines. Just imagine, right? Just imagine if Austin Butler had just finished Elvis in a timeline where Elvis came out in the early 2000s and he got hired out to play Eli because, you know, the whole lore with Paul Thomas Anderson is the guy that was supposed to play Eli fell out and Paul Dano started playing the brother, Paul, and Eli and blah, 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 right? Let's say Paul Thomas Anderson said, shut the up, Paul Dano, or you know what? Yeah, just keep being Paul, man. You're good. Here's Austin Butler, fresh out of Elvis. And just imagine they're in the scene, right, that I'm using. They're in the scene where Daniel Plainview is getting murked by Paul Dano. He's getting humiliation ritual in front of all these people, right? These churchgoers. And it's just him reciting those lines. He's just like, I've abandoned my child. Say it. Say it. Say it, Daniel. Say it louder. Say it louder. I mean, cut. Hey, Austin, bro, you kind of still got the Elvis accent. You think you can lose it for me? Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I mean, yeah, I'll lose the accent. Yeah. Let's try it again. I've abandoned my child. Say it louder. Say it louder. I'm a hound dog. Get out of here, you. We're lost in a cloud with too much rain, you know, and they're just like, cut, Austin, what the fuck? Those aren't the goddamn lines. What the fuck are you doing, Austin Butler? Like, just imagine that, right? No, sorry, no, I love Austin Butler, but you get my point. Austin Butler can play a crazed murderer or a similar cultist figure, but is he playing them like Paul Dano's crazed murderer or cultist figure? No. If Austin Butler and Daniel Day-Lewis shared the screen, this movie would come off more to me as like a sort of weird fanfic, or I would just pay more attention to the raw star power in front of me and not the message and point of the movie, which, again, I'm not sure if that's what Quentin Tarantino wants. He just wants to see two hot guys argue and play a sort of weird Shakespeare-y kind of play in front of him. But his opinion just makes no sense. It's just like, it's like saying, oh, I think John Hamm could have played Brad Pitt's character in Fight Club because Brad Pitt's too skinny, or he's too like beta male. John Hamm's more alpha male. Like, that's the level I'm thinking of it, which, hey, I might be wrong. I might be pushing it too far because, again, I'm very biased at this point now, having to re-record this 4 times, which I'm not trying to bore your ears with, you know, in trauma dump, but it's just like, it's so out of left field. It's like, what are you saying, Quentin Tarantino? What are you saying, buddy? Anyway, another example, you know, thinking about Brad Pitt, talking about Brad Pitt right now, and John Hamm, Brad Pitt's persona in Fight Club. Tyler Durden, equally as crazy and sort of manic, right? But what's he wearing? Leather jackets, shades, and he's ripped and smarter and more charismatic than Edward Norton's the narrator character. Could you honestly see Paul Dano being Brad Pitt's character? No, right? Because it won't fucking work. He could play Edward Norton's character, but not Tyler Durden, and not Austin Butler's Eddington Colt guy. And I don't see this as a diss to Paul Dano and his acting. I see it as a praise. He's able to truly play these characters the way that makes the audience feel like Daniel Plainview's character feels about Paul Dano's character. He's able to make you feel how Batman feels about the Riddler. He's able to make you feel like Hugh Jackman's Keller Dover and Jake Gyllenhaal's Detective Loki feel about Alex Jones in Prisoners. So I don't think Paul Dano deserves weak sauce and the worst actor in SAG label treatment from Tarantino. Because there is no fucking way I would believe Austin Butler like I do Paul Dano in that movie. There's no fucking way I would believe John Hamm as Paul Dano in that movie. There's no way I could believe Michael Cera as Paul Dano in that. I mean, honestly, maybe I could probably take Michael Cera, but again, that's part of the point, right? It's like, dude just wants to see hot people fucking fight and like take their socks off. I think in Quentin Tarantino's perfect world, it would be like Daniel Plainview is walking through the mud, you know, heading to the church to confront Eli, and his boots are so muddy that Daniel Plainview now has to take his boots off. So he takes his boots off, and it's a barefoot long shot, you know, a continuous no-cut shot of Daniel Plainview going into the church muddy toes. And then he goes, and Eli's like, say it. I've abandoned my child. I have sinned. I have sinned in front of the third revelation. And he takes his socks off and his boots off, and he starts slapping Daniel Day-Lewis with his dirty socks. And he starts throwing his shoes at Daniel Day-Lewis. And then, you know, it's Austin Butler, right? So he just rips his shirt and he's like, say it, say you abandoned your child. And then Daniel Day-Lewis is like, I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy. And then they just start making out, and then they're just rubbing feet. It's like, is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted, man? Sorry, no. No, you're fucking wrong. Paul Dano was great, and the movie's great. It's great as it is. Why did you have to speak? Why? Why? You know? Anyway, that concludes my point on that. So, in conclusion, I think Tarantino's crash outs shouldn't be taking so literal. I don't think that audience goers should take his word as fact. I think Quentin Tarantino is still a very great director. I love the guy. I love his movies. Like I said, I paid money to go see Kill Bill, A Whole Bloody Affair. I sat through the whole 4 hours of it, swamp ass and all, sweaty feet. You know, I'm sure he'd love it. He'd love to know I was there, right, watching it. I'm sure he made a lot of revenue off of it. I love Quentin Tarantino, but this opinion, man, is just really strange, really out of left field. I didn't see any point in it. It didn't benefit the numbers for his Kill Bill re-release, I'm assuming. It was just straight Paul Dano dissing, and it just didn't make any fucking sense. And his one rebuttal, or his one point, was to recast him as Austin Butler at the time. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? So, you know, I had to say it, and again, like I said, guys, I was literally going to scrap this whole video because I had to re-record this audio like 4 different times. And just so you know, right, I'm not, again, trying not to trauma dump. I have 4 separate 9-minute long video or recordings to encompass this entire thing. So obviously I'm going to stitch it, make it sound pretty cohesive. But I had to make sure I stopped talking or finished a sentence at about 9 minutes and 55 seconds. Because as soon as it hits 9 minutes and 58, 59, 10 minutes, it would just like blip. Like you would just dissipate. You would just explode. It would just cease to exist on iPhone's voice memo app. So very stressful, very annoying. I wrote this script literally at the time this came out. Like, I've been wanting to make a video for a while. I know I haven't uploaded in maybe, 3 months now? 2 months? I've been stuck working, doing a lot of things on the side. Not that anyone gives a shit. I don't think anyone watching this anyway. Whatever, right? But, you know, I've been wanting to make a thing, and I saw this, and I was like, you know what? I wasn't going to, because, again, I didn't want to just report the news or anything. I wanted to actually talk about the movie and talk about, you know, some examples until I saw a reel about, you know, this There Will Be Blood scene, which I've seen There Will Be Blood several times. But yeah, you know, it's like that was a good scene to really dive into it and show the acting chops there of both actors, of Paul Dano, right? So that gave me the idea. I wanted to work on it. I finished the script. I recorded the audio and found that the audio shit the bed. So now 2 days, 3 days, 4 days after I find out of this whole Quentin Tarantino fiasco and after the drama was blown over, here I am, right? But nonetheless, oh my god, I was yapping too fast. I was yapping so hard I almost threw up. Nonetheless, yeah, that was my opinion on that. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was at the very least entertaining. I hope you guys continue to formulate your own opinions as the audience. Hope you guys continue to support independent films, you know, support movies like Shelby Oaks, which I wanted to talk about too, I just never did. Support indie films. Fuck it, support blockbusters too, support Avatar, you know. I hope that my audience, whatever that means, I hope you guys, whoever watches this, is someone that embraces the silly, the deep, and the cringe about cinema. You know, if you like a movie, you like it. And that's all that matters, is that you got something from it, whether it's a laugh, a lesson, a tear, maybe a teardrop down your leg, you know, whatever it may be, in whatever sense. I hope you guys continue to think for yourselves. I'm glad to see Ben Stiller and all these actors are coming to the defense of Paul Dano and Matthew Lillard. I'm glad to see that they're like teaming up like the Avengers against Thanos, Thanos being Quentin Tarantino in this scenario, and then really telling him like, hey man, how about you just shut the fuck up? Because honestly, yeah, I agree. It's such an empty opinion to have, and especially with that guy with that reputation, with, you know, his words and the way he's positioned in Hollywood. It's like, come on, dude. Like, what are you trying to do? Blackball fucking Paul Dano? Why? Let the bro be bro. The bro's great, you know? So yeah, I hope you guys continue to think for yourselves. Don't listen to Quentin Tarantino. Be unbiased when it comes to that. Or if you are going to be biased, be 100% your own bias. You know, don't be biased based on other people's bias. And I'm glad to see I'm glad to see that not many people are taking his word to heart. And let's see, what else? Closing thoughts. Be fun, be cool, be chill, be zen, embrace the silliness. Being silly is the new punk rock, as some would say. And I'm working on a video on Avengers Endgame. It's going to be titled Avengers Endgame Has Aged Terribly. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid. It's shit. And why did they massacre Hulk? Professor Hulk sucks. We need Ang Lee's Hulk back. That's going to be the name. Trademark that. Tag it. I'm claiming it. That's what it's going to be named. It's mine. And plan on working on a video on Barry. I really want the video on Barry to be serious. Not serious, but really more conventional, concise, methodical, deliberate. I want it to be well made. So I might actually invest in, you know, better equipment, a better mic, actual software, a better PC to make that video, because I really want to go in depth about Barry. It's a great show. If you guys have HBO Max, watch it. If you don't, I'll give you my HBO Max so you can watch it. That's how serious I am about that show. It's awesome. I love it. And yeah, so 2 things coming up in the next few, I guess, decades. I don't know. It took me 3 months to make this, 25-minute video. I think maybe a little over 25 minutes. There's no way I've been yapping for over 25 minutes. Anyway. But yeah, I'll really try to put out the Avengers Endgame one soon. I think that'll be fun. I think it's pretty niche. If anybody takes this idea, you. But just kidding. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna have to bleep a lot of these out, aren't I? Fuck. But yeah, guys. thanks for watching. Stay tuned for these next 2 videos and the following ones to come. Subscribe if you haven't, like the video, save, repost, do your thing, and stay tuned. Thanks again. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.